Hey everyone, in today's video, we are going to install Kali Linux inside VMware Workstation. This is a complete step-by-step guide, and if you're brand new to virtualization or Kali Linux, don't worry, I'm going to walk you through everything. All right, let's jump in. So first, let's talk about why we are doing this. Why install Kali Linux inside VMware Workstation? Kali Linux is a specialized Linux distribution. It is designed for penetration testing and security auditing. It comes with hundreds of pre-installed security tools. Now, you don't want to install this directly on your main computer. That's where virtualization comes in. VMware Workstation lets you run Kali Linux as a virtual machine. That means it runs inside your existing operating system. You can test things safely, you can take snapshots, and if something breaks, your main system stays untouched. This is completely normal in IT environments. Virtual machines are used everywhere. All right? So now that you know why we are doing this, let's move to the next step. Before we begin the installation, let's talk about what you'll need. First, you will need VMware Workstation installed on your computer. VMware Workstation is a virtualized platform. It allows you to create and run virtual machines. There's a free version called VMware Workstation Player, and there's also a pro version. Either one works for this tutorial. Second, you'll need the Kali Linux ISO file. An ISO file is basically a disk image. It contains the entire operating system. You can download this from the official Kali Linux website. Make sure you download the correct version for your architecture. Most modern systems use 64-bit, so you'll want the 64-bit ISO. Third, you'll need enough system resources. By system resources, I mean RAM and CPU. Kali Linux runs inside a virtual machine, so your host system needs to have enough power to support it. I recommend at least 8 gig of RAM on your host machine and at least a dual core processor. You'll also need around 20 to 30 gigs of free disk space for the virtual machine. All right, once you have these things ready, we can start the installation. Let's start by downloading the Kali Linux ISO. This is the file we are going to use to install Kali Linux inside VMware Workstation. Open your web browser and go to the official Kali Linux website. The URL is www.kali.org. Press enter. What you're seeing here is the Kali Linux homepage. So I'm going to click on download. This takes you to the downloads page. What you're seeing now is a list of different Kali Linux editions and versions for different use cases. For this video, we are going to use the standard installer image. So look for the one that says installer images and click on it. The current version is 2025.4. The version number might be different depending on when you're watching this. You also have different CPU architecture. If you're on Windows machine with an x86 64-bit processor, you got to select x86 or 64. If you're on a Mac, select Apple Silicon ARM 64. For this video, I'm on a Windows 11 host machine running an Intel 64-bit processor, and I'm going to select x86 or 64. Scroll down a little bit and click on download button. Now this is going to start downloading the ISO file. This file is 4.4 gig in size, so depending on your internet speed, this might take a few minutes. While that's downloading, let's move on to the next step. Now we are going to create a new virtual machine in VMware Workstation. This is where we'll install Kali Linux. Open VMware Workstation on your computer. What you're seeing here is the VMware Workstation home screen. On the left side, you'll see a list of any virtual machines you have already created. If this is your first time using VMware Workstation, that list will be empty. That's completely fine. Now click on File menu and click on New Virtual Machine. The first page asks you to choose between typical and custom. Typical is recommended for most users, so I'm going to keep that selected and click Next. And in here, I'm going to select Installer Disk Image File ISO. Click Browse. And I'm going to navigate to the folder where I've downloaded the ISO file for Kali Linux, which is in my Downloads folder. And I'll select the ISO file and click Open. I'll click Next. What you're seeing now is the guest operating system selection. VMware Workstation needs to know what type of operating system you're installing. Select Linux as the guest operating system. For the version, select Debian 11.x 64-bit. Kali Linux is based on Debian, so this is the correct option. If you don't see Debian 11, just choose the closest Debian version. Click Next. Now it is asking you to name your virtual machine. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it mine Kali Linux 2026. You can also see the location where the virtual machine files will be stored. If you want to change the location, click Browse and select the path where you want to save your virtual machine files. So I'm going to save mine under B drive, data drive, virtual machines folder, and I'll call this as Kali Linux 2026. Click OK, and I'll click Next. Now it is asking you to specify the disk capacity. This is how much virtual drive space you want to allocate to Kali Linux. The default is 20 gig, but I recommend at least 30 gig if you have the space. So I'm going to select 30. This gives you more room to install tools and store files later. You will see two options below: store virtual disk as a single file, and the other one says split virtual disk into multiple files. Storing it as a single file gives you slightly better performance. Splitting it into multiple files makes easier to move the virtual machine to another computer. For most users, a single file is fine. Select that option, and I'll click Next. Now you're seeing the summary screen. This shows you all the settings you have configured. Take a moment to review them. Before we finish, let's customize a hardware bit. Click Customize Hardware. What you're seeing now is the hardware configuration panel. On the left side, you'll see a different hardware components. On the right side, you'll see the settings for each component. First, let's adjust the memory. By default, VMware Workstation might allocate 2 gig of RAM. I recommend at least 4 gig, which is 4096. If your host system has 16 gig of RAM or more, you can allocate 4 to 6 gig. And you can adjust the slider or type the amount. Now let's look at the processors. Click on Processors. By default, it might set to 1 processor with 1 core. I recommend at least 2 cores. And I'm going to select network adapter. Currently, it's selected to NAT. But you do have an option to select the other type of networks. In my case, I'm going to select a specific network, which is VMnet 1. This is the network where I'm going to create all my other virtual machines, such as my domain controllers, my client machines, my web servers, and all those things for testing purposes. Everything else looks good, so I'm going to click Close. Now you're back at the summary screen. Click Finish. All right, your virtual machine is created. So now I see my Kali Linux virtual machine listed on the left side. It should say Kali Linux 2026 or whatever name you give it. It's already selected. I'm going to click on Power on this virtual machine. What you're seeing now is the virtual machine starting up. You'll see the VMware logo. Then you'll see the Kali Linux boot menu. Now we are ready to start the installation. So let's install Kali Linux. This is where we are going to go through actual installation process inside the virtual machine. Notice here in the boot menu, there are several options. The first option says graphic install. The second says install. There are also advanced options for live boot and rescue mode and things like that. But in this case, I'm going to select that. For this video, we are going to use graphical install. This gives us a nice graphical interface to work with, and it's easier for beginners. So I'm going to press enter. The installer is now loading up. You'll see some text scrolling by. After a few seconds, you'll see the Kali Linux installer. The first screen asks you to select your language. This is the language that will be used during the installation process. It will also be the default language for Kali Linux system. So in my case, English is already selected, so I'm going to click on Continue. Next, it's asking you to select your location. This helps set your time zone and keyboard layout. In my case, I'm going to select India and click on Continue. Now you need to select your keyboard layout. If you're using a US keyboard, select American English, which is already selected. So I'm going to click on Continue. Now the installer is scanning the installation media, so it may take a minute or two. Just wait for it to complete. Okay, now the installer is loading additional components. You'll see a progress bar at the top. This might take a minute or two, so let's wait for it to complete. And you can see it is detecting network hardware and configuring the network as well. Right now, it's assigning the network with DHCP, but we will specify an IP manually. Now, what you're seeing on the screen, it says the network auto configuration was successful, but it was not able to find the default route. That's because I don't have DHCP on my network. And it is also prompting me if I want to continue without a default route. So for now, I'm going to select yes, but after I complete the installation, I'm going to specify the IP address manually. All right, I will click continue. Now on the screen, it is asking you to type the IP addresses of your DNS servers. In your environment, if you don't have a DNS name server, you can leave this blank. But in my environment, I have a name server, which is actually a domain controller, DC01. So back to Kali Linux virtual machine, I'm going to specify the IP address of my name server, which is 192.168.10.1, and I'm going to select continue. Now it is asking for a host name. A host name is a name of your computer on the network. You can leave it as the default, which is usually Kali, or you can change it to something else. I'm going to leave it as Kali and click on continue. Now it is asking for a domain name. This is optional. If you're not part of a domain, you can leave this blank and click continue. Next, it is asking you to set up a user account, enter your full name. This can be anything. Now I'm going to skip the full name for the new user. So I'm going to click continue. Now it is asking you to specify a username for your account. I'm going to go with my first name and click on continue. Now it is asking you to set a password. Choose a strong password. Make sure to remember that you'll need this to log in later. So I'm going to type the password and re-enter my password again and click continue. All right, it is detecting the clock and the disks. Now we are at the disk partitioning step. This is where we set up how Kali Linux will use the virtual hard drive. What you're seeing here are different partitioning options. The first option says guided use entire disk. This is the easiest option. It will automatically set up the partitions for you. There are also guided use entire disk and set up LVM and set up encrypted LVM, or you can also do it manually. For beginners, the first option is fine, guided use entire disk. I'm going to keep that selected and click continue. It is now asking you to select the disk. You should only see one disk listed. This is the virtual disk we created earlier. So I'm going to keep that selected and click continue. The default option is all files in one partition. This is recommended for new users. So I'm going to click on continue. Now you're seeing a summary of the partitioning. This shows how the disk will be set up. You can review it and click on continue. Now it is asking you to confirm. Select yes to write the changes to the disk and click continue. The installer is now copying files and installing the system. You'll see a progress bar. Now this is going to take some time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your system. Just let it run. You don't need to do anything during this part. And while it is installing, this is a good time to talk about what's happening. The installer is extracting all the files from the ISO. It is setting up file system. It is installing the base system, and it is configuring all the packages. Now, at this moment, you can see it says only the core system has been installed. And this default selection will install Kali Linux with its standard desktop environment and default tools. So I'm going to keep the default selection and click on continue. This will again take some time to complete. All right, now you can see it is unpacking the binaries and installing the packages. Next, it is asking you if you want to install the grub. Grub is the bootloader. It's what allows you to boot into Kali Linux. So I'm going to keep the default selection, which is yes, and click on continue. It is asking where to install grub. Select a virtual disk. It should be something like dev SDA. Grub is now being installed. All right, the installation is complete. You'll see a message saying installation complete. Click continue. The virtual machine is now rebooting. Okay, let's log into Kali Linux for the first time. After the reboot, you should see the Kali Linux login screen. Type in your username and enter your password. This is the password you set during installation, and click login. You're now logged in, and what you're seeing is the Kali Linux desktop. On the left side, you'll see some icons. At the top, you'll see a menu bar. This is where you can access application settings and configurations. Now, just so you know, this VM is also installed with VMware Tools, which is a suite of utilities that enhances the performance of your virtual machine. It improves graphics performance. It allows you to share files between your host and guest operating system, and it enables features like copy paste between the host and guest. So if I click on the VM menu in the menu bar, you can see it says reinstall VMware Tools. That means the VMware Tools has been installed. Now, one last thing that I need to do is to specify an IP address for my Kali Linux virtual machine. So on the top right side, you can see the Ethernet connection icon. So I'm going to right click on it and click on Edit Connections. I will select Wired Connection 1 and click on the gear button. And I'll click on IPv4 settings. And you can see it is selected to automatic DHCP. Since I don't have a DHCP server in my network, I'm going to select manual and click on add to specify an IP address. I'm going to specify 192.168.10.201 and the net mask is 24 and my gateway is 192.168.10.254, which is my virtual router appliance, which acts as the gateway for this specific network. And I'm also going to specify my DNS server, which is my Active Directory domain controller, which is 192.168.10.1. All right, I'll click on save to save the settings and click close here. Now, if I open up the browser, go into Wikipedia, you can see Wikipedia loads up. All right, now you have a fully functional Kali Linux for virtual machine. You can use it for penetration testing, security research, or anything in ethical hacking. And I can tell you that having a virtual lab environment like this is incredibly valuable. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. And if you have not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will do my best to help. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.